Good morning, everyone. I want to welcome you here today, and I'm delighted to have all of you here. We are here today to announce three major actions regarding Mississippi's food supply. As I mentioned last week, we do not have a crisis in food supply here in the state of Mississippi or in this country, but we are taking three actions today to even greater strengthen our local food supply chains, provide more options for our Mississippi's farmers, for our consumers, and also to plan for the future, some long-term plans that will enhance Mississippi's processing capacity in the state of Mississippi. I want to welcome all of our guests here today. We have several folks representing farmers. We have Mississippi Cattlemen's Association here, Andy Berry. We also have Farm Bureau represented here. Is Mike? I didn't see Mike here yet, but he's supporting on the way. Chairman Bill Pygott, Representative House of Representatives, Chairman of Agriculture, a great friend of mine and a great supporter of Mississippi agriculture, and appreciate all of our legislators who are returning today. I also want to thank the Mississippi State Medical Association for being here. Dr. Jennifer Bryan is the chairman. Also, Dr. Carlos Latore, the medical director for Medicaid here, is in support of this local food initiative, and we welcome them. And I want to say a special thanks to our staff, to Paige Manning, Lane Milton, to Claude Nash, and Jason Price, who's been working on the IT side of this thing. Thank you all for all you do. First, let me reemphasize, we do not have a food shortage in the United States of America. We do have strain on certain processing plants in different parts of the country. And we've been working closely with our officials here in the state of Mississippi to make sure that we do not have that kind of strain in our processing capacity. And I want to thank all those on the front lines of that. What we have had is a processing slowdown in certain parts of the country. And you've seen on television certain animal depopulation. You've seen produce plowed under in parts of the country. We've not seen that here in Mississippi. We don't want to see that. But based on what has happened out west, I think this is the right time for us to take action that will enhance local food supply, create additional opportunities for our farmers, and make sure we have plenty of food on the shelves and process it here local. What I'm talking about is local Mississippi food for local Mississippi people, thanks to our farmers who are working through this crisis. We have seen initiatives at the national level to combat the oversupply issue. USDA announced $3 billion to buy surplus produce and dairy and other commodities, poultry. We have seen soon, the middle of this month, there will be a box food program that will be distributed by USDA. We also have seen the USDA establish a National Incident Coordination Center for farmers who don't have anywhere to send their livestock at this particular time, livestock that's piling up in feedlots, et cetera. President Trump signed last week an executive order to make sure our processing plants have everything they need to stay open. We've been honored to be a part of that by distributing PPE to our local processing plants here in the state of Mississippi, red meat, pork, poultry plants across the state, and also the Board of Animal Health has been a part of that. Thanks to them and to our meat inspection division for getting that done. And I noticed this morning the president has announced that he's looking at an investigation on possible market issues with the processors out west, and I know that's an issue that's on the minds of every farmer in the state of Mississippi, every cattleman. No meat processing plants have closed in the state of Mississippi. We have been on the front line of that effort to make sure that doesn't happen. We've also been working closely through our meat inspection division, monitoring the situation in the meat processing plants. It's hard to tell whether COVID is spread inside a plant or in the community. Certainly there are communities in this state where COVID is more prevalent than others. And so I want to applaud the processing plants for taking action to keep our workers safe. And by distributing PPE to them starting this week, that's going to be another step we can take through the process. We've also encouraged grocery stores not to impose artificial limits on the sale of food products, specifically milk in particular, but certainly it would apply to anything. That the greater risk for COVID, though, is not that the COVID will cause us to have a food shortage, but that people will panic and hoard and overbuy, and that's something we just don't need to do. We all need to be a part of the solution by buying what we need when we need it for a week or two at a time, and buy for our neighbors. There's plenty of food out there. The issue we have now is oversupply and a lack of processing facilities around the country. I'm told this morning a lot of those plants that had closed out west and up north are beginning to reopen. That's a good sign, but we cannot wait to rely on that for the future. We're going to take action today to strengthen our local food supply. We've also been pleased to be a part of the solution through our fairgrounds over here. The Mississippi Fair Commission authorized the University Medical Center testing facility that is still ongoing, and I understand is having great volume in terms of testing. We need more testing, more results, and so I appreciate them doing that. Earlier this week, we were able to authorize the conversion of the old Trademark building that's scheduled to be torn down. And this summer, we've turned that into a Ppe Sanitization System, state-of-the-art system where hospitals and healthcare workers can deliver their PPE so it can be cleansed, sanitized, and sent back out for reuse. We don't want to run out of PPE. Thank you to our healthcare workers on the front line. So we invite those hospitals that would like to be a part of that to get in touch with the State Medical Association and sign up to have your PPE cleansed over there at the Trademark. You know, when it comes to farm to table, and that's what we're here about today, we started back in 2018 the Genuine Mississippi program. It's a great program, local products, more than just food, but anything grown, raised, crafted, or made right here in Mississippi. It's been a great program. But today we're announcing steps that to build upon this, to enhance this. And I want to say I appreciate the state's news media for helping us get this word out. In just a few moments, I'm going to take these three actions and I'll walk through them one by one. It's kind of like a three-legged stool. Each one of them is important and the three work together. First, I'm going to be signing in just a moment an emergency rule changing the way that custom processing exemption operates here in the state of Mississippi. Now, when it comes to meat processing, we operate under the guidelines and the requirements of the Federal Meat Inspection Act. And meat that is processed at a federal plant is able to be resold practically anywhere, grocery stores, even across state lines it can be sold, or direct from farm. But there's also the custom plants that we have that are smaller plants that are locally based. A lot of times during deer season, you'll see a lot of the custom plants operating. And under the Federal Meat Inspection Act, we have the ability to craft an exemption for the sale of live beef to the consumer. In just a moment, I'm going to sign an emergency rule eliminating the maximum number of owners for a beef. In other words, a farmer can sell beef direct to the consumer without a limitation on the number of owners. Not a lot of people have freezer space big enough to put a quarter of a beef in. I know a lot of the calls that I've been getting is how can we buy more local beef, just enough, for our refrigerator, for our freezer. And so this rule that I'm going to sign will go into effect immediately. Our cattlemen across the state that are interested in participating, of course, nobody has to participate, but to sell local beef can certainly continue doing that. And I would point out there is a difference between grass-fed beef. That is a thing right now. It's very important, and we have a lot of great grass-fed cattle being sold and consumers interested in buying that, but there's also grain-fed beef. So when you're selecting the beef you want to buy, make sure you know the difference and do a little research on that, I would say to our consumers, and we at the department are here to help you to understand that. This will allow immediately a 120-day emergency rule. It will expire automatically in 120 days, but we're going to make it a permanent rule during that 120-day period, open up to public comment. And what this will allow is for Mississippians who want to buy local beef or pork, farm-raised livestock, they can share in that animal, whatever the farmer wants to sell, however he wants to divide it up. They will then be able to pick up their share as it's processed at a local custom processing plant, a local custom meat processing facility. So let me get over here and do that right now, okay? there's a second leg to this three-legged stool, and it is how to connect Mississippi consumers with these local farm products that people want to buy. People are going to the grocery store now. They're not able to get the particular style product that they want. They're not able to get the quantity that they want. They're calling our office. How do we buy local from a local farmer? And today I'm really excited to announce the second initiative, which is the Mississippi Farm Marketplace. The Mississippi Farm Marketplace portal is a place where any farmer growing any food product in the state of Mississippi can go online, and within 5 minutes they can register, offer that for sale, upload their photos. Consumers can go there from anywhere in Mississippi. They can shop by county, look locally what they want to buy, make their purchase with the farmer, and then pick it up as it's arranged between the farmer and the consumer. The Mississippi Farm Marketplace portal is live now. I think it's so new, Google hasn't even picked it up. So you go to www.msfarmmarketplace.com, and we already have some farmers that we've helped to sign up. Some of our genuine Mississippi members and others are signing up. But this is open for anybody without cost, and we think it's going to be a great way to connect Mississippi consumers with Mississippi-grown produce, honey, eggs, dairy, meat, live animals. We can certainly grow anything worth growing in the state of Mississippi, and we do it better than anybody else. And so I want to ask Paige Manning to come right now, our Director of Marketing. She's going to walk through how the portal works, and after that, I'll move on to the third leg of the stool. Come on, Paige.
Thank you, Commissioner. I just wanted to take a minute and show you all how easy that the portal is. It was designed in a way that it would be easily navigatable for both our farmers that are wanting to register and also for our consumers that are looking for Mississippi products. So like Commissioner said, when you go to our website, msfarmmarketplace.com, this is the page that you will come to. Once you get to that page, if you're a consumer and you're looking for products to buy, you can just click on Farm Marketplace. These are the ads that we have so far in there, but we will be adding more as we go along. And one thing, too, to keep in mind is you may see something, you might not see something today, but it may be there later. And also, a lot of the products, such as produce, will be seasonal and will change throughout the year. So, for instance, if you are looking for a particular product, you can select the commodity that you're looking for. From that, you can select a sub-commodity. Or if you are wanting to search not just a statewide search, but you are wanting just a couple of counties, maybe in your local area, you can search by that as well. So, for instance, if you wanted to search Forest County, you could search Forest County, and it will show you all the products that are available right now in Forest County. I know the commissioner's been speaking about meat this morning, so if you want to select meat, you could select that. You could go down to meat, and you've got some different farms here that have different meat, and then you could even get more specific and do beef if you wanted to do that. And just to show you a little bit more, I'm just going to take one of these ads that we have for the livestock for custom slaughter. For instance, if you see this ad for Bozeman Farms in Flora, you can click on Bozeman Farms and you can actually see more information about that farm. And you can also see pictures. So for a lot of people, it's important to see a picture of what they're going to be buying before they purchase it. So in this case, you can actually see the photos of one of the cows that you might be purchasing. And for those farms that are members of our Genuine Mississippi program, we do have that designation. So for instance, Ryer Farms in Lena, if you click on Genuine Mississippi right here, it's going to take you to Ryer Farms' profile on our Genuine Mississippi website. And so that will show you lots more information about the farm, way more information about things that they produce. You can find where they sell their products, and if you scroll down to the bottom, you can even see different locations where they may be selling their products, whether it's at a retail store or at a farmer's market. So now, just to take a few minutes, I want to show you how simple it is for farmers to actually make an account for the program and put their information in. So that farmer, I've already got this one set up here. So the first page that they come to, they are actually going to have some terms and conditions that they check off, basically just giving us that permission to have their information out there on the web. And then you can put in your contact information from there, hit save, and then you can put in different commodities. For instance, here's one that I created for blueberries. If you click on that, they just come in here and they just basically, they put in their commodity, such as fruits. Got the blueberries here, a description, fresh blueberries. We've got a beginning and an ending date, and that is when the farmer thinks that they will have that product available. If it's something like fruit and maybe they sell out, they can easily log back into the portal and change that date so you know it's no longer available. How the product is sold, whether it be by the gallon, if it's sold per pound, something like that, and also the quantity there. One neat thing again about this is that it does give the farmers the opportunity to input a picture of their product. And as the farmer is actually putting this information in, it builds the ad for him or her. So under fruits right here, he or she can actually see a preview of what their ad looks like. So if there's something that they want to tailor in the description to fit more about what they want to do, they can do that. And also, I want to point out, only do we have food type products on here, but there are farmers out there that have job openings on their farms. They may be needing help, so they can put that information in here as well. Also on our website, of course, we have our contact information for anybody to get a hold of us if they're having any problems. We also have a message from the commissioner and a video message that you can watch as well, where he talks a little more in depth about the program. And of course, we have links to our Genuine Mississippi program. Oops. So again, people can find even more Mississippi products, maybe not just those that are on the portal, but this has got all types of grown, raised, crafted, and made products that are from Mississippi. And we have also a link to the Mississippi Market Bulletin, which again is just another resource that farmers can use to sell their products, whether it's equipment, anything for the farm that you would need, and consumers can also go here and check that out too. So not only do we have the portal that people can use, but we have links to a couple of the other resources that we have here in Mississippi for our farmers to use. Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you. I do want to point out that this portal, the Mississippi Farm Marketplace, is a service of the Mississippi Market Bulletin, the second largest subscribed newspaper in the state of Mississippi. And I want to encourage every one of you to get a copy of it as you leave. The editor, Claude Nash, is here. He's right over there, as a matter of fact. Claude's been doing this a long time. A great publication, a great service for our farmers and for our consumers. And now we're taking it to the Mississippi Farm Marketplace. Thank you very much. The third initiative that we're announcing today may be long-term one of the most significant actions that we've taken in a while. And that is today we get calls from farmers, from ranchers, folks who have cattle to be processed, for example, and they cannot find somebody to process their meat because our processors are full. They're at capacity. There's not enough processing capacity to get another beef processed for the particular time frame. And so, as we have seen with the plant shutdowns out in other parts of the state, we are determined that we will have more processing capacity in the state of Mississippi. I will tell you that today I'm pleased to announce a round of emergency funding that we will be making available to our existing meat processing plants in this state. Those who want to expand their operations, they are ready to do that in this time of emergency, and also for the long term, to have more red meat processing, more pork processing, more local farm-raised poultry processing. We need more processing capacity in the state of Mississippi, and we're going to be reaching out to all of our existing operations and asking people to submit applications for this grant program by which they will expand their operations and have an even stronger food supply chain here in the state of Mississippi. Mississippi-raised food for Mississippians. I think the crisis like COVID-19 reminds us things that we take for granted. We take a lot for granted in our country and in our state. Certainly our health. And one way to promote our health, and the doctors and I were just talking, that one of the best things we can do is to eat healthy. And local food is healthy food. So we encourage you to be a part of these initiatives. And if you are a processor interested in expanding, we want your application so we can make sure we make that happen in the next few days. In fact, it's going to be a short-term window of time, but we're going to announce that for local foods and more access. We are going to get through this crisis together. We are going to get through COVID-19. It may not be easy. It's certainly not been easy thus far. We are all hopeful that this will come to a swift conclusion and be over and done with. But in the meanwhile, there are actions we can take to get through this successfully. The most important thing we have, of course, our faith and our families, and all of us have to eat food. And that's what this meeting today is about, these three initiatives to strengthen our food supply. I want to thank you all for coming. I want to thank the Mississippi agriculture industry, thank our farmers. Let's all thank a farmer for what they are doing to make sure we are fed and supplied and we have abundant food. We have plenty of safe, abundant, affordable food. We should never take it for granted. And these initiatives will allow us to access and buy more locally for our people, for our for the long-term food security of the state of Mississippi. I'll be happy to take any questions. Thank y'all.
With grocery stores, when consumers go in there and they see the shelves empty sometimes, what is happening if you say we have enough meat in our food supply?
What is happening is the food is there, the livestock is there. There's been a temporary slowdown in some processing facilities somewhere in the country, so that wherever that chain is buying from, that's slowed down. That's one possibility, but it'll be there the next day or the next day. The other possibility is people are just buying in a panic mode and buying too much. And I have been saying from the get-go, that is a greater danger to our food access than COVID itself. Because when people go in and buy, just for themselves, they're not leaving any for their neighbor, for the elderly, for those who may not able to get out and shop as often. And so that's one of two things that are happening there, panic buying, or it could be that some particular plant slowdown has hindered the delivery of those processed products to the grocery stores. The actions we're taking today are going to make more local access for our processed meats and other foods.
How much Mississippi-grown meat makes it into our local grocery store?
Certainly we have a lot of cattle, a lot of beef, and a lot of pork in this state. We are the number 5 producer of poultry in the country. So I would say that when you buy chicken at the grocery store, it's a really good chance it's Mississippi chicken. Certainly a large percentage of our beef supply is Mississippi produced. For those who sell and the cattle are shipped out west and fed out, that kind of gets lost in the process. So we don't have a hard number as far as that, but what we do know is we have these genuine Mississippi companies who are raising local beef, and they're already signed up to sell local beef to Mississippians. And I hope that after today we're going to expand that and that we get a much higher percentage of beef and pork and certainly poultry as well. Yes, in the back.
What's been some of the response from the farmers
You know, our farmers are hurting right now. Farmers were hurting before COVID-19. And like a lot of industries, we're hoping for a really good 2020. We had just gotten some really great trade deals done, looking for better prices. And then when the bottom fell out, essentially 50% of the domestic market went away with the closure of schools and restaurants. That applies to dairy, it applies to meat products and other. But when that happened, then those prices began to drop. And to add insult to injury, the cramp in supply in other parts of the country have even hurt prices further. So farmers are hurting. The reaction we've had from farmers to this has been very positive. It's a new way to sell. It's a new way to market their products. And the great thing about this is farmers get to keep the profits instead of going to some middleman in the middle of the process. And it all stays here in Mississippi. So I'm very encouraged by the response of our farmers, and we want every farmer, every cattleman to certainly feel free to sign up to msfarmmarketplace.com. Thank you.
Commissioner,
Yes.
you said the USDA is going to be having these food giveaways. How much food will they be purchasing or providing that is Mississippi grown?
I expect that a lot of the produce, a lot of the food that is bought, the surplus produce, will be from other states, because Mississippi is just now getting into our prime time for the produce season. And one of the great things in Mississippi is our farmers markets have been open, grocery stores have been open, so there's still been a retail source for produce. I think, though, there will be a lot of milk. There's been a lot of dairy farmers in this state hurting, no supply out there to buy that milk. Cows are still giving milk, they still got to be milked, and you can't just store it indefinitely. So there has been some milk, excess milk, and I expect there'll be a good amount of Mississippi excess milk purchased under that $3 billion produce and dairy purchase program. Any other questions? Well, I don't see any. I want to thank you all for coming. Thank you for getting the word out. Thanks to our Mississippi farmers and farmers all over America. We have the greatest farmers, the greatest agriculture industry in the world. We not only feed our own country, we feed a lot of the world. But this is a time that we can redouble our efforts to strengthen our local food supplies, help our farmers, buy local, eat healthy. It's a win-win-win for everybody. Working together, we will get through COVID-19, and we will be stronger on the other side. Thank you all for coming. God bless you. God bless Mississippi, and God bless our farmers. Thank you all.